recent moment that captured the attention of the whole world, the French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Egypt, and especially visiting Khan al-Khalili market. It wasn't just a political gesture, it was a very important visit that we'd like to know more about it and the impact of it regarding the global media and also the impact of it on Egypt. I'm delighted to interview my very dear guest, Mr. Atef, the tourism expert. Good afternoon, Mr. Amr.
Good afternoon.
First of all, of course you have followed the visit of the French President Emmanuel Macron to Egypt, and especially visiting Khan al-Khalili, and you have also witnessed the reactions of Egyptians receiving the French President. How do you comment on this visit?
Well, this is a very important visit. I mean, it's a high level visit of French President, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took Mr. Macron to Khan al-Khalili Bazaar, which is one of the crowded areas of Cairo. So that shows how safe Egypt is and how secure travelers would feel visiting Egypt. That will have an impact on tourism, because this is a good advertisement for sure for Egypt as a safe country to visit.
And how do you think such visits could ensure that we have lasting gains and also benefits that could be identified as long-term benefits, not only short-term?
It's a long-term benefit visit because, I mean, President Macron, when he came, all the media have seen it, and media from all over the world had videos of the visit, and it showed how the Egyptians are a warm nation.
Of course.
I mean, they welcomed him, they were happy to have him, and he was very well accommodated. So that will have a good impact on tourism for sure.
Of course. Also, it is very important when we witness such a very important visit to ask about the enhancements and the developments that are done in such places like Khan al-Khalili or the historical zones. There is a very fine line between developing historical places and also not losing its identity. How do you think this could be done?
This could be done by first do maintenance and restoration to the site of Khan al-Khalili. We need to restore the architectural buildings in Khan al-Khalili to make it last for longer time.
Of course.
Without taking from the authenticity of the traditional buildings in the bazaar of Khan al-Khalili.
Yes. What limitations could lie in this process? Or challenges that could be tackled?
I mean, the crowds in Khan al-Khalili might be challenging, a little bit challenging for the archaeologists and the restorers.
Of course.
But other than that, I think we can do it. And we should care more about the infrastructure of Khan al-Khalili and the cleanliness and the maintenance of the historic bazaar.
Okay. What is the reaction of every tourist you meet when visiting places like Khan al-Khalili or Mu'izz or such places? What comments do they say?
They feel impressed and they feel like they want to stay longer, always want to stay longer in the bazaars and in Khan al-Khalili and al-Mu'izz street. They always wanted to stay longer, and they take pictures and they feel they are walking through history, because this is from the Mamluk time, and of course it has its own blend and own features.
Yes, of course. And also regarding the tourism campaigns, because this is a very important zone in Egypt, Khan al-Khalili or other also similar places, what do you think, in your point of view, enhancements could be done in the tourism campaigns when presenting such places?
We need to work on marketing and sustainability. So we need to market, and the visit of President Macron with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is a good chance to market Egypt and have, I mean, we should spend more time and money on marketing and take advantage of this visit to spread the word around. People come to Egypt to see people, to see the Egyptians, and to see new Egypt at the same time. So choosing Khan al-Khalili, which is a walking tour among the historical site, was very good choice. And it did lots of advertisement. And the feedback was very fast. I mean, I've heard from travelers coming here that they have followed the Macron visit to the Cairo University and to Khan al-Khalili. So this will be in the tour itineraries.
Of course.
I mean, the tour operators would put this in the tour itineraries, and that will be very good for sustainability.
So you mean the places that Macron has visited, they are now included in the programs of tourism?
In the programs
when they
of
visit
tourism,
Egypt?
yes, of the travelers who visit Egypt.
Yeah.
So that will be an add-on to the value of the trips.
Of course, this is a very important point. And also, another aspect that is very important to be covered in this interview, Mr. Amr, is also the local businesses and also the artisans in such areas like Khan al-Khalili. How can they benefit from such visits?
The artisans will be able to sell their products to the travelers. They will be able to advertise more their products.
Of course.
And that will be for the benefit of the artisans.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
And there are lots of galleries people come to see. It's not only the archaeological sites. Well, they come to see the archaeological sites, but they come to see also the galleries, the modern galleries, the artifacts, the different museums.
Of course.
So that's also a win-win situation.
Of course. You also raised a very important point, Mr. Amr, is that we always focus on the very known and popular places and destinations that tourists might already know before visiting Egypt, but also we have very beautiful places in Egypt that are less known. So how do you think such visits could enhance or promote for the less known destinations for tourists?
Sure. I mean, such visits will focus on the less known gems of Egypt.
Yes, of course.
And that's what the travelers want to see. They want to see Egypt in depth, and they want to see more of the hidden gems of Egypt, like Siwa, like the oasis of Siwa, like the Nubian village in Aswan, try the local food of Egypt. This is what people want to see. It's people all the time.
Yes,
so they want to see the people, and they want to see how they live.
Yes.
So that will be interesting for the traveler.
Also, Dr. Amr, from your expertise, regarding the tourist preference when it comes to food, of course, the Egyptian food is amazing and every tourist comments on it. So what are the main preferences of tourists regarding food? Do they prefer the fancy food or the local food?
Food is a very important item of the traveler's experience to Egypt. Yes. And Egypt is rich with its cuisine. The travelers like to eat the Egyptian food and try it, like our falafel, which is very famous worldwide, and like our falfa beans, and our sweets and desserts, like the kunafa and the baklava and all the Egyptian food. They like to come and try it. So the feedback is always positive, and that's what they remember when they go back. When they go back to their homelands, they ask about the meals they ate, and they try to try the recipes that we give them to cook this food when they go to their countries after their visit to Egypt.
Not only food is a very important pillar of the touristic experience, but also the accommodation and the place that the tourist chooses to stay in. One of the main pillars is that some tourists prefer to stay in local places, not in fancy places, but of course this preference might differ. So in your opinion, how can tourists feel the heart of Egypt and the spirit of Egypt when they choose to stay in a local place?
This is very trendy worldwide. The travelers worldwide, not only in Egypt, like to stay with the local people and in the local area. And we have those kind of motels and local hotels here in Egypt and in Cairo, in Luxor and in Aswan. So they try to stay with the Egyptians, they mix and mingle, and they blend in with the Egyptians, and they enjoy it. And the feedback we get from those kind of tours is always very positive.
How do you comment on this point as a reflection of the safety that we can experience in Egypt?
Of course, Egypt is safe. And again, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, when he took the French President Macron to the Khan al-Khalili, which is the busiest place in Cairo, that gave a message to the whole world that Egypt is safe and secured. So I think that Egypt is safe, and always welcome the travelers to come and stay and enjoy the history of Egypt.
Of course, and also we have some businesses that is formed when families receive tourists in their own homes, also with a financial return. And also this is one type of business that families sometimes use. How do you comment on this type of business?
this type of business is very good because it pours in the economy immediately. So that's a good thing. And tourism, as you know, is one of the big industries of Egypt. So it pours in the economy, and I mean, it's the modern way of traveling. The travelers, not only in Egypt, all over the world, but they try the Airbnb and they try the different homes and they stay with the locals. So that's good for the economy, and it's a win-win relationship.
Yes, of course, of course. I would like to thank you so much, Dr. Amr Atef, the tourism expert. Thank you for being here with us, and I'm delighted to interview you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.